Okay, so hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Tim Owen. I'm the VP of Sales at Texi. We're just going to wait for a couple of minutes while everybody is joining. So just give us a couple of minutes and we'll get cracking. So today we're going to be talking about how the manufacturing industry is recognizing the need for visual first strategy as part of their digitalization effort. We're going to explore the steps involved in the visual transformation journey and highlight the benefits that manufacturers can expect to see when they choose to add vision as part of their workflow. Then I'm going to introduce representatives from ABB, who are a world leader in robotics and high-end manufacturing technologies. So the first is Per Ulrich Eriksson, Global Service Manager, and next is Rob Breeden, the Field Service Manager. And they're going to talk about how ABB significantly improved the way they resolve customer issues by implementing visual assistance. So before we kick off, I just want to let you know there will be time for some Q&As. So if you just use the button below, we'll do our best to address them after the session. So manufacturers in 2020 are facing a unique set of challenges. They need to support complex production lines with strict SLAs while minimizing site visits. They need to manage the rising operational costs and figure out what to do about a widening employee knowledge gap as seasoned workers start to retire. To deal with these challenges, the industry has recognized the value of using vision-based technologies in their workflows. ABB were early adopters of AR and technology and still gaining traction, with Gartner's 2020 CIO survey saying that 27% of respondents are currently using or evaluating or exploring this type of technology. We've witnessed a massive boost in adoption, not just last year, but this year as a result of the pandemic, where more and more organizations are shifting to contactless service. And we're going to show you all the benefits and efficiencies that come with it. One of the things that's sort of the most pleasing things for us is not only have companies been forced to use this technology, but actually having now seen the efficiencies, they're now using it permanently and have changed significantly the way in which they operate their business models. Organizations that have already adopted visual technologies are realizing that implementing a see what I see tool is not actually the goal. It's just the beginning of a journey with a whole new world of opportunities that we're going to go through. So the journey involves really sort of three stages. The first is remote assistance, where your people can see what either your customers or your technicians see, making it much easier to provide the right help or diagnosing faults. The next is guided assistance, where frontline employees or your customers are led through a workflow, capturing the necessary pictures or videos of the issue to carry out or troubleshoot repetitive tasks. And the most advanced stage, autonomous assistance, where we take all of that insight and use it to make self-service even better by automating more and more processes and tasks. And as you advance the journey through visual transformation, you can add vision to more touch points, more use cases, and more departments over time, and gradually automating more and more of what are really sort of the repetitive tasks, whilst continuing to increase your ROI. This ROI comes mainly from reducing organizational effort, optimizing cost of service, generating more revenue through improved client engagement, and much higher satisfaction levels. So let's take a deeper dive into each stage of the journey. So the first is remote assistance, or we see what you are seeing. So now imagine a scenario whereby before visual assistance, they were blindfolded. So trying to describe a problem, now suddenly seeing what I'm seeing, you can actually point the engineer to the right bracket, saying next to your right hand, and carry out whatever needs to be achieved. This works well for remote experts instructing frontline employees or for site technicians who need expert assistance while performing the job. And even at this early stage, the organizations start seeing significant ROIs. So think about things like higher first-time fixes, reduced machine downtimes, fewer site visits, and actually easier training for novice employees. So choosing the right solution is critical. For some, that may be a hands-free solution like AR glasses that we've seen a number of our clients beginning to implement, or other organizations need to scale up to support huge numbers of users in the millions, and they choose to go down the smartphone route, which is quicker, much easier to roll out since everybody's got a smartphone and everybody knows how to use it. In either case, keeping it simple is the key to widespread adoption. So ideally, the technology should not require a specific app to be downloaded or installed, but it needs to be fully integrated into the organization's CRM, and it needs to be really intuitive and simple to use. So the next is guided assistance. This is where users are guided through a process of capturing the required pictures or videos of the issue or the problem. Generally, these are simple, repetitive tasks that can easily be achieved in self-service mode. The user can take images of the machine part that needs to be replaced, or a predefined workflow that captures things like serial numbers or faulty parts. All the information is then pre-populated in a form, making it really easy to submit the request and saving massively on costs for the manufacturer. For cases where expert assistance is needed, the captured visuals dramatically streamline the interaction. So for example, if a complex assembly needs to be validated before it's shipped, the user would be guided through capturing all the images of the angles for the assembly, making it simple for a remote expert or supervisor to inspect the work and sign off on a job. And this brings us to the most advanced stage, autonomous assistance. This allows you to leverage all the data that's collected in the visual support session and train the system to recognize things like machines, the parts, the cables, LED flashing lights, error screens, buttons, all these types of things, and automatically diagnose the issue and suggest resolution. One application is automated assistance for on-site engineers. So this is when a technician comes on sites, runs into a cabling problem, for example. It would be a poor usage of time to have that engineer then wait in a queue to get remote assistance, causing bottlenecks and more wasted time and costs. In this scenario, the technician can simply point his tablet or his glasses at the cables, and the system would recognize the problem and provide step-by-step guidance for fixing the port connections in this scenario. We've actually got a customer that has a workflow of over 10,000 technicians who install equipment. It's mandatory that they use this technology. Many of them are freelancers and getting job automated verifications. So instead of needing a remote expert to sign off on the job, the system would recognize the assembly meets all the requirements and it would auto approve the work. This truly automates processes and maximizes the ROI. As we said, as organizations advance along the visual transformation path, the ROI compounds, so they can start to set their next goals from that new and enhanced perspective. At this point, I'd like to hand over to ABB Robotics, who have recently started their visualization transformation journey with Texi, and they'll talk you through the journey.
Yes, thank you very much. So ABB is a leading global technology company. We have a history of excellence stretching back for more than 130 years. And ABB's success is driven by around 110,000 talented employees. We're spread over 100 countries, and we're divided into 4 main business lines: electrification, process automation, motion, and robotics and discrete automation. In electrification, we do things like low voltage solutions, medium voltage solutions. We do all the electrical vehicle infrastructure and sustainable electrification. In process automation, we do things like measurement, analytics, marine and turbocharging, digital control systems, and general industrial automation. Motion, we manufacture motors, generators, drives, powertrain solutions, and applications in transportation. And our field, which is robotics and discrete automation, we do complete integrated automated solutions with robots, of course. We do machine automation, some standalone systems, and product development.
So locally, for customer service, the global key delivery expertise that we offer, there's 6 main areas across 39 countries we operate in. That actually covers 58. So this virtual assistant tool that we're implementing really helps us with the remote assisted support with covering the 58 countries from our 39 locations. We have over 550 technical associates globally that deliver the end-to-end services aftermarket, from technical support right the way through to our digital solutions, which is the connected condition-based maintenance and fleet assessments of the robots done via cloud-based solution from site.
Okay, thank you. And it's, we're proud to call ABB one of our customers now, and certainly obviously a global powerhouse. So let's just start with a few questions. And Per, I'll hand the first one over to you, which is just a quick introduction in terms of, what challenges were you trying to solve, and why did you implement remote visual support?
Initially, we wanted to include the remote visual support in our service level agreements, which are mainly service contracts we have with our customers, and we wanted to offer an additional alternative support. And the first challenge we wanted to solve was response time. So from when the customer calls to when we get there, with remote support, this is basically instantaneous. So that was a very good thing for both of us. And the second challenge we want to reduce was traveling costs. So again, we saved a lot of money in transport, in air, hotels, and everything. So those were the two main challenges.
Okay, thank you. And obviously with the global pandemic that we have going on at the moment, did that become a factor in your decision-making process?
Yeah, well, we all had already started the process. We wanted the remote support when the pandemic hit. So this just kind of accelerated the process. So we did it even faster than we thought initially. Okay,
great, thank you. And Rob, perhaps you could dive into a bit more detail in terms of exactly how you intend to use it, and what are the common use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the last probably 24 to 18 months, we're onboarding with the Salesforce case management solution. So this kind of works really nicely in hand with that, from like a platform delivery side. We've got a lot of exciting avenues that we kind of want to go down with trying to make this solution really operate for us. The first one, obviously being the main one, is supporting customers directly on site. So that's our technical support desks and elements around the globe, directly supporting customers with their issues. The second one being us helping our own engineers out on site, maybe being able to visually assist a little bit better and understand what the problem is if the engineer may need a little bit of additional support. And the third sort of like user case that we're looking into as well at the moment from the UK side is using it for virtual sales visits on site. So we're able to inspect and look at upgrade opportunities for customers through the virtual tool without actually having to go directly to site. This really will support the sales team in being able to get around to more customers quicker and being able to understand opportunities a little bit better, with the pandemic also playing a part in that as well.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
No, sure, no. So we've had, obviously we've been piloting this for about 3 months now. We've seen a lot of good user stories coming out. We've had issues that have almost proven the business case, whereby a customer has phoned up, they've had a breakdown on site, and we've been able to virtually rectify the problem for them either over the phone and using the virtual assistance tool. And also we've managed to, in a lot more user cases currently, is we've actually been able to proactively diagnose a problem, so that when the engineer does have to come to site, we already understand what kind of problem it is and what kind of products we're going to need to bring to site to be able to aid that engineer. It's all about trying to bring up to speed the first time fix rate without having to come to site and diagnose a problem and then have to revisit the site bringing the correct parts to fix the problem. We want to really be able to understand the problem, either fix the problem and bring the right parts when we come to site, or be able to fix the problem first time when we do come to site.
Yeah, I mean, great examples, and thank you for that. Do you, I know it's sort of it's early days, but do you have any sort of numbers that you could share in terms of sort of what sort of first time fixes look like?
Yeah, sure. So we're currently looking at actually when we come to site, we're looking to reduce the amount by about 25% using this virtual tool. So that helps on kind of the sustainability culture that ABB goes for. So we're reducing the amount of miles we're doing by about 2,000 a month in the UK. So that's a great sort of strong sustainability story we're also taking away from this, that we're not having to send engineers out on site on jobs which are quite easy or simple fixes, which again helps us sort of like our green front on that. Yeah,
that's amazing, thank you. So I guess next question is, you know, what are your plans for the future? I mean, obviously you've got your own direct customers and your distributors, and are you planning to share with the distributors as well as your customers? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, so we have value-added partners, and we call them in the UK. They're integrators, and we want to be able to work more closely with our integrators so that they can help at the end of the day the end user or the customer solution or function package that they're putting in. And because the integrators, or sort of like the end users, want to be able to have a better understanding of some of the more technical queries or questions, and we want to be able to use this tool really as an enabler for that additional support, and to be able to really support them with some of the more technical questions that they may have on our product or equipment, maybe in a faster time, so that they can carry on the integration speed of their projects really, so it doesn't end up affecting the end customer.
Okay, great. Sounds like you've got a fantastic roadmap sort of already planned, so that's brilliant. Thank you. So perhaps you could talk us through the sort of the process from sort of the beginning, in terms of, you know, what process and decision making did you go through to choose the right organization with this type of visual support tool?
Yeah, so what we did is we first we made a benchmark with 6 or 7 different companies, and we evaluated different things now that we wanted, like for example, of course, we wanted to see what the field service engineer is looking at, or what the customer, so the see what I see feature. We wanted to have this graphical interaction. We wanted to be able to share files. We also wanted the system to support our customers in China, which was very important for us. And also we wanted integration into Salesforce. So we did this benchmark and looked at different solutions. And Texi came out extremely at the top on all the technical aspects. But not only that, so when we decided to run a pilot, they were very supportive. We got a special training for the pilot case. So in the end, we chose Texi because of all the technical qualifications, but also because of the good support we got.
Well, that's great, and delighted to hear that. And again, welcome you and proud to have you as a partner. So do you have any other tips for other organizations that want to implement remote visual support tools?
Yes, definitely. The tip would be to run a pilot with Texi. As I mentioned, the experience is extremely good. It's very professional. You get guided step by step on how to use the application. So we got a one-day training, and we actually did the pilot in I think it was 6 different countries all around the globe in different time zones. So we had one-day training, but divided in 2 sessions, one for Europe and Asia, and then on the afternoon for Europe and America. No? So we could train the whole team in one day. So yeah, the tip will be definitely to try it out and yeah, share the experience, just experience it.
That's great to hear, and thank you for that. So that concludes our interview part. So I once again sort of thank you both very much for your time. And now I'd like to just take a few questions from the audience. So it looks like the first one that's coming in was, there's been no mention of AR glasses. Can you try and sort of elaborate why you chose remote visual assistance as opposed to using AR glasses?
Yeah, mainly I think it's due to simplicity, because all our service engineers and most our customers, they already have a mobile telephone or a tablet, and it's very easy to run it. I have personal experience with some glasses that are quite uncomfortable. Of course, it's a great asset to have the hands-free, but we have our experience is that it works pretty well with a mobile phone or a tablet.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and from sort of the end-to-end solution side, delivering directly to the customers. We want this whole end-to-end experience to be very seamless and straightforward. So we're delivering directly to the customer, and we don't want to have an additional expense of having to either provide HoloLens or include that in the package price, or even customers having to understand what the spec is to be able to then buy their own HoloLens or AI sort of AR glasses, whatever, so to speak. So we wanted this to be just a tool that can be enabled with a customer, because at the end of the day, that's what we are. We are a reactive sort of business, and we support all customers. And we want this solution not to have any barriers sort of to execution. We want it to be very, very straightforward as a solution. So using customers with end devices, which most customers have a smartphone or tablet on site, this really is what we kind of wanted to go down those lines with.
So thank you, Per-Erik and Rob, for all of your words. Thank you very much indeed for joining us in the webinar. It's been an absolute privilege and pleasure to have you here today. And thank you for everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. If you have any other further questions, please reach out directly and we'll do everything we can to answer them. But thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar.